Hello, beautiful being. Welcome to this episode where I actually just want to share a message for someone out there. Whoever needed to hear this message at this time is very, very crucial to understand that we are going through chaotic times. There is a very confusing energy, very chaotic energy in all around. And personally, I haven't slept at all last night, and I was dealing with just a lot of anxiety, and I'm personally usually someone who just does not have anxiety. I'm mostly always led by my intuition, and I usually just take steps towards it, and I just trust and know that I will figure it out along the way. That's just my life philosophy. But the magnitude and the speed at which all these events, energetic events, are unfolding is very, very significant. And as I've shared in previous episodes, we are fundamentally changing our operating system, meaning from a conditioned way of living in which we were doing what's expected of us. We were constantly perfecting a persona that would meet the external expectations, constantly being out there or seek validation outside of us, or seek things outside of ourselves, to now having to drop all that and go inward, finding new landmarks. This is really the message that I want to spread and I want to share out there, because I feel that because we have been so conditioned to do things a certain way right now, if we find ourselves quote unquote lost, or not knowing what to do, or not knowing if we even trust our intuition or what that voice even sounds like, it is all okay. It is all part of the journey, because we don't have it all figured out, and we're following guidance and steps as we go. But because we went through a huge major chapter, major cycle, major karmic cycle, in which we were reactive to our environment, and we kind of knew what we had to do, which was, survive as best as we can out into the jungle. And we created a persona that helped us go through these challenging experiences. That was our coping mechanism. That was our triggering responses to the environment around us. And now we are invited to drop all those ways of being and drop the programming and everything that we have learned, and find new truths that are deeper, that are more meaningful, and that are spiritual. The spiritual journey is a journey. And there's a reason why it's called a journey, because we are evolving and constantly expanding and aligning with this expansion. So what's happening with this ascension journey is our souls are evolving collectively, and now our system, our human vessels, our identity are trying to align to that massive expansion, that massive soul expansion that is happening energetically. And obviously, of course, we will feel lost because our system, our software was used to run a certain way, and now we're rewriting new guidelines, we're rewriting new way of being that is less mind-based, which means that we're going to have less rules and more being. We're going to be less doing and more being. We are also adding this dimension to our existence, and with that comes confusion, right? Because you will feel drawn to doing things a certain way. You will feel drawn to keep doing life the old way. And we can no longer do that because our soul knows that we came here for something different. We came here to live life more organically. We came here to detach from these way of performing. This is really the right word, is performing. We were performing out into the world, competing, perfecting some sort of image. And it was all a means to an end. It was not authentic. It was not organic. It was not from the heart. It was not connected to earth, to ourselves, and to what life really is all about. We have bought into a bunch of illusions that have disconnected and taken us further and further and further and further away from ourselves. And so what we did is our soul came here, our soul incarnated here to live in alignment with its divinity, with who we really are as a being, not as a persona, not as a robot, because our persona only helps us get things from the outside, only helps us to live in a conditional way. And so when we live solely in the third dimension, we are simply going with templates of existence that have been predefined. And that is the case for karmic relationships, karmic partnerships, for ways of being, ways of acting. From the moment we are born, we are met with all these demanding expectations from our family, who wants us to be a certain way, from the school system, who wants us to behave and just listen and and spend 8 hours a day just obeying, right? And then we go out into the world, and the world expects from us to do this and be that, and it's never good enough because it's based on competition, is based on limitation, is based on the perception that we are not good enough just on our own, just for being who we are. And this is why the twin flame journey is very challenging. It is because when you meet just another being who loves you unconditionally, meaning they love you for you. They love you for your soul. They love you because they see your essence. They see your divine spark. They see beyond the persona, beyond the mask, beyond your conditioning. It feels very challenging because you have not seen yourself this way your entire life. And so it will be very challenging for you to feel good enough to receive that love, because many of us have never received unconditional love from a human being. We have received that from God, we have received that from Source, from our spiritual team, from our star family, but all the templates of relationship on earth have been karmic up until now. And I cannot stress enough how different the new earth templates are going to be, because they're based on unconditional love. They're based on divine blueprints and not 3D karmic recycled templates. I repeat, divine blueprints versus 3D karmic recycled templates. And we are right now standing at that choice point where, are we gonna keep looping? Are we gonna keep doing things the old way, even though we're empty on the inside? Even though we know deep down that there's aliveness out into the world. Just go walk on a forest on your own, without the thoughts, without the fears, without the mind control, without that beast that has lived your life up until now, because you've been living on an autopilot, meeting the demands of everyone else. And now you're invited to stand in your own and forge a new path, not just for yourself, but for the world, because this is what we came here to do as Starseeds. This is not just a talk. You've been most probably hearing this from quite a while back, right? You are a trailblazer. You are here to do things differently than everyone else, and this does not come with an easy pathway, because the easy path has led you to a life that is unfulfilling, has led you to a life of external validation, but not from the inside. The easy path has led you to the same old, and it's never gonna change, because the 3D is gonna keep looping, but you're here to transcend the old ways. You're here to find new landmarks. You are here to create a life beyond what your ego and your mind can even comprehend. And it's through the heart center that you can connect to that vision, but you need to feel worthy enough for it. And in order for you to feel worthy enough to claim that life, to claim that partnership, to claim that life purpose, and to claim that utter abundance that is not external, and it's not how it looks like on the outside, and it's not your status, and it's not your bank account. The true abundance is having a heart filled with joy, and then it will reflect that on the outer world through experiences, through connections, through surrendering to Source and to life's journey, and not just meeting certain milestones and going from point A to point B in a robotic way. This is not why you came here. We're doing things a different way. You've always been different. You've always felt different. And there is a reason for that. Now, you may have tried to box yourself in and tried to compete just like everyone else, because deep down, there is an inner child that never felt seen, that is craving and longing for love or unconditional love that he or she never got from the outside world, because they could never give us something they never had. But we are here to break through those patterns. We're here to no longer accept breadcrumbs. We are here to truly expand into new ways of being that are fulfilling to our soul and that do not meet external expectations, because those are empty. Those only leave us empty in the end. And so with that, I really just wanted to lay a message out for those of you who may have been feeling lost or confused. Just know that we are still detoxing out of a very programmed and strict way of being. And because we have been so used to ignore how we truly feel, we have an whole emotional world that has been left unexplored, because we have been performing, we have been out there, we have been striving for things, and we have just really not have the chance. For those of you who haven't spent years in isolation like some of us, this is the only reason why today I can truly speak from the heart and I can truly understand myself, is because I have invested that time. I had made it possible. The world, the 3D world will never give you the permission to do that. You have to be the one who rescues your inner child and says, enough is enough. This is time for me. This is time to understand myself. This is time for me to take my own path in this lifetime and no longer submit to anyone else's requests. Because this is what life's journey is all about. And as I was saying, I had to go through very, very, very painful moments of seeing what I was carrying on the inside, which was deep shattering loneliness, deep shaming and abandonment and wounds that were really scars in my soul, that because I was so afraid to face, I was on a hamster wheel on the outside, doing everything I could to avoid looking at what I was hiding. And we can no longer do that, because we cannot escape ourselves. We need to face everything that we were afraid to face within ourselves. And emotions can feel very scary, especially for those of you who have not had a proper emotional education. I mean, who had that? It was only through my personal commitment and devotion to this journey of understanding myself and understanding my inner world that I was able to get to this point today. But if you expect that from the outer world, it'll never happen. So you gotta make this step, you gotta take this commitment of just really facing your inner battles, and just realizing that this is what you came here to do. Because when you heal from deep within, and you heal all those confronting emotions within you, all those emotional imprintings that you have tried to avoid by maybe constantly being in relationships, never being alone, or just overworking. So much of what we have created out into the world has been the result of this avoidance, the result of us just not being able to be with ourselves and just truly face how we really feel and be real with ourselves. Be real with yourself. You can never get the love you truly want from a karmic outside relationship. You can never get the soul fulfillment and your soul purpose from an external pursuit, from a chase, from a 3D matrix career. It is only in solitude and in connection with source and the divine that you can acknowledge those qualities within yourself, that you can make space and map your emotional world and understand it and clear the way for more fulfilling, deeper understandings of who you are and why you came here. Because so long we're going to have those wounds and we're going to keep avoiding them. We cannot see what lies underneath. It is only because we have avoided to see the surface, to face the surface level wounds, that we cannot meet ourselves at our depth. But when you heal those, you can actually truly access the depth of who you really are and the depth of your being. And that's when a whole new life begins. Because the 3D, it's all about surface level. It's all about superficial. It's all about how something looks on the outside, how you look on the outside, how a relationship looks on the outside, how your body looks, how just everything superficial. But you are a deep soul, and this way of being cannot be sustainable because your soul will just scream at you that you want depth, you want deep connections, you want to be with a person who just look inside of your soul and knows you and sees you and encourages you to be your true authentic self and not who they want out of you or what they can get out of you. You want to wake up in the morning and to have a purpose that you won't feel like you're dragging yourself to, but instead it's almost inevitable that you cannot not create, because it's just an extension of your being. Life is an extension of our being, and if you have looked at yourself in a superficial way up until now, then you have created a life that is superficial. Your relationships have been superficial and conditional and transactional. Your career has been all about how it looks and stay to us or validate seeking validation from others, but you have not been honoring your soul. You have not been true to yourself. And when you do so, when you begin to do the real work and you begin to be real with yourself and you're willing to do the work, life will start transforming all around you and you will become a creator and no longer a follower. I hope this message reached whoever it needed, and let me know in the comments below how this message lands, how it resonates. And I'm sending you so much love and inner peace and light and guidance. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.